How's it going? Dave in Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are dropping in price. Now, I normally do this on Sunday, but I think today is Monday. I've been so busy with other things. My brother, who I do the business with, he got married over this past weekend, and family was in town, tons of other stuff. So my video's been a little sparse throughout this past week, but it should be picking up, hopefully coming back to normalcy this week going forward. So yes, just been super busy. But anyways, let's look at 5 keys that are dropping in price. All right, first up is we got Amazing Spider-Man 102. This is the second appearance of Morbius. A 6.5 is down 48% from $3.99 back in March to $2.07. A 9.2 is down 39% from $7.55 to $4.61. And a 9.8 is down from a peak price of $14,400 back in September. Now one sold for $6,000. That is down 58%. This is no surprise. Obviously, the Morbius movie came out, was not very good. Let's just put it that way. Was it a box office bomb in terms of money? Not really. I mean, I think it lost a little bit of money, but not like horrible amounts. It might have even broke even after it's all said and done. But it just wasn't well received. People really didn't like it. They're most likely not going to make a second one. The only hope for Morbius going forward is possibly him showing up in the Sinister Six. But even then, who knows where Jared Leto is at with playing the character. I mean, usually if you're a big actor and the people don't like your character very much, you tend not to want to do it again, especially when you have lots of other options. It'd be one thing if he's a no-name. But nonetheless, this book is dropping. Is this the end of Morbius in terms, regardless of the film franchise and all that stuff? No, this is not. Morbius is a huge character, huge Bronze Age character. Obviously, this book is going to drop back to a base level, but it's not really going to drop much more than its base level. Next up, we got Conan 24. This is the first full appearance of Red Sonja. A 6.5 is down 48% from a high of $250 to now sold for $130. A 9.2 once sold for $850, now sold for $357, down 58%. And a 9.6 down 55% from $1,300 down to $582. This book as well, got a huge boost from the comic boom. Also, there is speculation of a Red Sonja movie that got squashed. There is no Red Sonja movie in the works, or who knows? At least none that have been announced. There's always something in the works. I know that they're trying to make some kind of Conan like TV show, kind of, I'm assuming in the vein of Game of Thrones type of thing, like more adult, more action, more bloody, more violent. They've tried so many times to do Conan movies. Obviously there's the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. Then there's one, wasn't The Rock in one? Or was that Hercules? I can't remember. I know they did a Conan the Barbarian recently with kind of not a very big actor. And I don't know what happened. Pretty much went nowhere. So they're always going to try to redo Conan. It's just, I mean, who knows? Maybe they could do a good one. I think they have to go more into the sorcery type of stuff and less of the barbarian type of stuff, because there is so many barbarian type movies and TV shows out there. Just, most of the time they slap Conan on the name, and it literally could be any other barbarian movie. So they have to make it unique where it stands out from the rest, just because since there's been so many, everyone that goes and watches this kind of thinks back to other ones that they've seen, maybe not a Conan movie, but other barbarian type movies, and goes, oh, that one's better, that one's better. So they're always comparing it to someone. I mean, that's why the Avengers was so good of a movie, because there's nothing really to compare it to. Like if you go back in time, yeah, you might have some team up stuff, but this is far vastly bigger, far vastly better. It's like Star Wars. When Star Wars first came out, there was nothing to compare it to. I mean, it was just in a league of its own. And so that's why it was such a huge hit. Obviously, after Star Wars, they came with a bunch of low-budget, crappier versions of Star Wars, and those, gross. But that's what they got to do. They got to make Conan unique to where it stands out, just because we've had so many years of barbarian-type movies that you can compare it to. All right, next up, we got Eternals #1. I wanted to put this one on here because it's been a year since I did this last. A 9.4 One sold for, man, back in May of May of, why does it say 20 on there? I think it's supposed to be May of 2021. Sold for 809. Now currently selling for 140, down 83%. A 9.6 down 88% from 1653 to 200. Jesus. A 9.8 down 78%. Once selling for 3,800 at its peak. Now selling for 832. Yes, the Eternals. I wanted to put this on here because it's been a while since I did it. And then if you didn't watch my video where I did with my dad on Father's Day, we mentioned the Eternals and we made many jokes about it. We also joked about it, off camera as well. Yeah. I personally thought this wouldn't get any lower. Man, I was wrong. It is now currently selling for lower than it was. It's selling for like 2017 numbers before they ever announced the Eternals, before anything came out. That's how bad a movie can make this drop. If this, basically it got a boost. It was a nothing book. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's pretty much selling for probably around, I don't know, barely anything. And then, the movie comes out or is going to announce, shoots a sky high. If this movie was good, would there have been a drop afterwards? Of course. If they were going to make an Eternals 2 and it's going to be a huge franchise, then yes, it would have dropped, but nothing like it is dropping now. I mean, 88% in a 9.6, 88% in a 9.6. Think how ridiculous that is. Just boggles my mind. I mean, it's literally almost at 100%. A little bit longer, it'll be at 100%. Now, it won't ever be 100%. But that's crazy. Going from $1,653 in a 9.6 to $200. Wow. I mean, the 3,800 to down to 800 is bad. But for some reason, it just looks worse when I look at the 1,600 to the $200. It just looks way worse to me. I don't know why, just percentages wise. But man, this is there any hope for Eternals? I'd love to tell you oh no, it's probably hit its bottom and it's going to bottom out. If they're not going to use the Eternals again, it's just forget about it. Just forget about it. There's no Eternals in the future. This is what you get for hiring a terrible director to direct a movie. Like the the movie that she did before, the director I made fun of in a video about. It won an Oscar because this actress actually pooped in a bucket, on set. They wanted the realism. Oh my God. Oh, congratulations. You did something that, it's so dumb. That's like giving an Oscar because of Two Girls, One Cup. I'm sure younger crowd have no idea what I'm talking about, but the older internet crowd know what I'm talking about. Don't look it up. But yeah, it's stupid. Just stupid. Dumb. Hollywood's just dumb. They're just dumb. Full of dummies. They don't know what they're doing. Making terrible movies, making terrible decisions, giving Oscars to movies that don't deserve it, and then getting them to direct. And so I was like, oh man, you could tell a great story, so let me put you in this. That wasn't a great story. It was terrible. No one cares about your whatever. I'm going to go on a rant. But in any case, Eternals 2, never happening. Taking characters from the Eternals movie and putting them in something like Black Knight. That's what a lot of people are hoping. Possibly, but I just saw that the actor that plays Jon Snow or whatever the hell, Kit Harington, I don't know who's who, what his real name is or what his game. I never watched Game of Thrones. Whatever that character's name is, or actor's name, sorry, and he's playing the Black Knight. He just signed a deal for some other movie franchise. So Black Knight, I just don't see it happening. Just don't. Could it? Sure. He's the only one out of the Eternals that will ever possibly go anywhere. The rest of them, throw them away. But Black Knight's not part of the Eternals in this book. He's not. He's Avengers 47, 48, also Tales of Suspense 52, also Black Knight #1, Black Knight #1. All those are his keys. I'm going through different iterations of Black Knight. Obviously, there's his great-great-great-great-grandfather. Then there was his uncle was of evil. And then there's obviously Dane Whitman, which is the normal Black Knight. Maybe. But I wouldn't hold my breath. I would expect this to drop slightly more. That's what I said last time. And, bottom out. It has to bottom out at some point. It has to. So when that is, I don't know. I saw a slight uptick on the 9.8s, but that could just be what that means is it's basically gone like this, boom, and then to go boop, like that. So all the way down, boop. So that means it's reaching its bottom. I will tell you that much. Can it drop more? Of course. But that means it's not going to be a slight incline. You're not going to see like 20% droppings per month from here going forward. All right, next up, we got Star Wars 81. A 9.4 is down 52% from 270-130. A 9.6 is down 65% from 500-175. And then a 9.8 is down 43% from 1050 to 330. This book is back to where it was before the Mandalorian hype, before the comic boom, all that kind of stuff. Maybe not Mandalorian hype because I forgot they're on season 3. What year? See, it looks like it's back down to its 2020 numbers. So you're looking at comic boom, a little bit of Mandalorian in there as well. How many seasons have been Mandalorian? Are we on season 2? I've just ended 2, so on season 3, so that would kind of coincide. I don't know. But in any case, this is not really much of a key to begin with. It was a minor Boba Fett key. Got a little hype from the comic boom, a little hype from Book of Boba Fett, which is terrible. Just once again, like as you get older and you watch more movies and TV shows, like I find it harder and harder to find good shows to watch just because I'm comparing it to every other show and TV I've seen before. So when I'm like 80, I'm not going to watch anything because it's all going to be crap. It'll be like one good movie or TV show a year. Maybe. That because you're comparing it to everything else you've ever seen. So Mandalorian, loved it. Book of Boba Fett, terrible. It's boring and yeah. So that really trashed a lot of Boba Fett books. You know, you got Star Wars 42, Star Wars 68. The Mandalorian is supposed to come back season 3 or 4, whatever we're on. The best episodes of the Boba Fett was the Mandalorian when he showed up, cut that guy in half, and he was there, and then just turned into Mandalorian sidekick Boba Fett. I have not seen Obi-Wan. A lot of people I've talked to have seen it, said it's terrible, so I'm not going to watch it. But yeah, a lot of Star Wars books are dropping like flies. I would say your best bet if you're collecting Star Wars, if you want something that holds value better, would be Star Wars #1. All right, next up, we got Captain Marvel 14, first cameo appearance of Camilla Khan in one panel. A 9.4 down 43% from 438 to 250. A 9.6 down 77% from 550 to 127. Yes, that is not a typo. It sold less than the 9.4. A 9.8 from a high of $900 back in July last year, now down 48%, selling for $465. So why is this book dropping? Why is this on this list? Why didn't a 9.6 sell for less than a 9.4? What I do is I just take the most current price. So obviously that 9.6 sold for $127. That's an odd number to list a book for, so it was most likely an auction book. Then there's obviously the 9.4 was probably a buy it now. Maybe the buy it now was a little earlier, and because it's the most recent, I take the most recent sale. And that could have been as far as 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks ago. And obviously the 9.6 could have been real current. The reason why it's dropping so much is the show has come out and I haven't seen it. I don't have any desire to see it. That's the thing. From the trailers and what I've gathered information, it's made for 13-year-old girls. Gen Zers. It did not look appealing. I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. I haven't seen it. The stuff that I've seen online definitely has mixed reviews. Definitely, I know that it's the lowest, by far, watched MCU TV show. I think its first week, it ended up gathering, I want to say 700 or like 750,000 viewers that watched the first episode. So they cataloged a week or 5 days, I think it was, and only 750,000 people watched it. Compare that to the other MCUs. The lowest beyond that one was, I think, Hawkeye or something like that, or WandaVision at 1.5 or 1.6 million. The highest was Loki at 2.5 million people watching it. So Loki was definitely the most watched by far. Everything else was kind of around 1.8, 1.9, something like that. People say, well, it's because she's an unknown character. Moon Knight was an unknown character to the most. Like, he wasn't, I mean, he didn't appear in another movie or TV show before. He got 1.8 million viewers. But I mean, that's no fault to the show. I looked at it and I'm like, I have no desire to watch this at all. And we're at that point where they come out with so much superhero stuff that I can be choosy on what I watch. I didn't watch Obi-Wan. Don't need to. I don't want to subject myself to something I don't like. And I've talked to a lot of people. Now, granted, I never watched it, but it didn't look that good to begin with. What I watch right now is The Boys. So, The Boys, Miss Marvel. As you can tell, they are not even close to the same. Both have to do with superheroes, but one has a girl who's dealing with identity crisis, fanboy, teenage drama, love interest, teenage stuff I don't care about. Another one has an Ant-Man type superhero, spoiler alert, going into a man's penis and then snorting cocaine, sneezing, getting huge, and blowing up that person that he went inside, which was his boyfriend. Now, and they show everything. Now, which one would I rather watch? The Boys. Clearly, I'm not going to watch this other show. Zero interest. So, it's not just me. It's most people didn't watch it. Think about it. Every other MCU TV show garnered a minimum of 1.5 million viewers. Minimum, all the way up to 2.5, which is the top. And then the rest fall in the middle. And also, I think the WandaVision came out, like a year or so ago? So there's less people subscribed to Disney Plus at that time. So technically, ratio-wise, it would have been higher than now because they have more subscriptions to Disney Plus, so more potential people to watch it. And it's still only garnered 750,000 viewers. I mean, I don't know if that's a lot. I don't know what they're expecting to get, but compared to the rest, it's pretty pathetic. Like half of their worst show. It's like a third of their best show. To me, I can't spin it any other way other than the show sucks. And they'll probably not make a second one. And I think they're making The Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2 movie. And I think Miss Marvel will be in it. Monica Rambeau will be in it as, I don't know, something. And then obviously Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. I don't know how that show will do. I don't think people are looking that forward to it. I think it won't do anything close to the first Captain Marvel. So it's like $1.2 billion. So that's why this book is dropping and all other Camilla Khan books are dropping. Will we see an uptick when it gets closer to Captain Marvel 2 and she's most likely in it? Most likely we'll see a little uptick. You know, what will happen is this show will come out. This book will continue to drop. I don't know when the movie's supposed to come out, maybe like 2 years. We'll start getting not even 2 years, maybe a year and a half. We'll start getting our first looks. We'll start getting teaser trailers, then trailer trailers, and all along while I'll give like little boosts of this book along with like All Point One and whatever else, all the other appearances of her. And eventually, but it won't ever, I don't think it'll ever reach its record highs. Let's just put it that way. This book, the show had to have been tremendously well received. A lot of people had to break records. Then she would have to be in Captain Marvel 2 and be like a standout character. And the movie had to do really, really well to the point where she get her own spin-off movie. This is all the things that it takes to bring a book to massive highs. Like when you get a book that is massively hyped up due to a movie or TV show or something like that, some kind of medium, then it has to sustain that. The only way it sustains that is it has to keep rolling. That thing has to keep going and going and going and going. If Deadpool #1 came out, and I think they spent $50 million on it, and it completely bombed and brought in like 25 million or something like that, and they're like, okay, we're done with the character. Obviously didn't work. Just complete disaster of a film. You know what would happen in New Mutants 98? It wouldn't be where it's at today. It would have had an initial bump, and then it came back down. Deadpool is still a popular character, and you know, obviously still in video games and all other things like that. So he would still have value, but he wouldn't have that even higher level value that he has today. Was a 9.8 go for? almost $2,000 or something like that. I don't know. Can't remember off the top of my head. But that's what has to happen for these characters in movies to work. So a lot of these times they get a lot of hype and then they die down because of that. Because like the Eternals are dropping by like almost 90%. 90%. Will this book drop by 90%? I don't think so. I don't think this book won't go to like barely anything, because she is going to be, or most likely will be, in Captain Marvel 2, and her TV show is not nearly as bad as Eternals, and she has intrinsic value. The Eternals weren't really worth anything before. Just like the Inhumans TV show came out and was terrible, even got canceled midway through. FF45 is still a valuable book because Inhumans have a long history and it's an older key. If Eternals was amazing and now they're on Eternals season 5, that book would be worth way more. If in the end they made it, Inhumans. Inhumans season 5 and Inhumans movie, FF45 would be worth way more. But because it sucked, it dropped kind of back down. But once again, it has a floor. You just have to find out what that floor is. Eternals, their floor was pre all this movie hype. That's their floor. And it just happened to be a very low floor, and that's why it's dropping so much. Camilla Khan's, all her stuff, just look at her floor. Before any hype stuff, look at where that book was selling for before that. That's all you have to do. Have a great day.